In California, there's some interesting weedy plants. You know, weeds basically being plants that growing somewhere you don't want them. And there's this cactus, and it's got an asparagus fern growing in here. And, you know, I've been cutting on this asparagus fern, trying to keep it out of here for years. And this cactus has actually kind of started to decline a bit. You can see some death right there, right here. This is the dead part, and it's actually pretty vigorous, and I inherited it from my grandfather. So I'm like, why is it dying back, and what's happening here? And I started thinking, this asparagus fern is pretty vigorous. This and spider plants can get into your potted plants, and if you do not address it, they will actually kill what's in there. They are just that vigorous. This entire pot is now filled with the roots of this asparagus fern, which you can see are very thick, which makes it a nice landscape plant. Because these really thick roots, rhizome things, they hold a lot of water, so it's incredibly drought tolerant, and has some nice red berries in the winter time when it gets bigger and it's growing in the ground. Anyway, benign neglect is usually okay for a lot of cacti, but anytime they get some kind of friend in their pot, you kind of gotta look and see how vigorous it is, because cacti, they just don't grow that fast. And then something like this, an asparagus fern, and I've also had it with like a spider plant getting in, and I just didn't really take it out, and it eventually filled the entire pot, and it killed the plant that had originally been in there. And it does so very slowly. Pay attention, man. Asparagus ferns, any of these plants with really thick roots, really vigorous, tropical plants grow here behind the orange curtain. They can really take over a pot and kill whatever's in there. Yeah, so geez Louise here, you can see, been using this hose here. And using water to break down this root ball so I can separate this asparagus fern. I guess I could just chop it out, but I'm concerned about this cactus. It's close to 50 years old, born to my grandfather, so I don't want it to die. And I don't want to leave any of these roots in here mixed in when I put it back. And I actually have something I'm going to do with the asparagus fern. That looks pretty tough and vigorous. It's going to give me some good red berries, I think, if I plant it in my landscape. Anyway, plants that you inherit from people are especially important in adventures in California, I think. Okay, so now, after a couple hours of wrangling with it, I finally got this guy out of there. 50-year-old cactus. Notice I did that with my bare hands, kind of like the croc hunter, right? Grabbing those snakes by the tail. Because you need your fingers to get stuff done. But man, these guys will bite. So, right at the root ball, right at the trunk here, is where you kind of handle it, and that's what I'm doing on my 50-year-old cactus here. But again, getting this guy out of there, took some water, digging around, a couple hours honestly. But cactus just grows so slowly, they can't compete with other you know, herbaceous plants. It's tough for them. So if you have a cactus, you need to be only planting them with other cacti or keeping them alone. Got that from my grandfather. I'm guessing that guy's about 50 years old. Back into his pot, happy as can be.